All right, let's get into it. Today, we're going to tackle a super common problem: how to build a really powerful vocabulary without, trying to memorize the entire dictionary. I'm going to show you a simple daily method that actually works.
You know that feeling, right? You're talking to someone, you're writing an email, and you're just grasping for that one perfect word. It's right there, on the tip of your tongue, but you just can't quite get it. It is so frustrating. And look, you are so not alone in this. But here's the good news. The problem probably isn't you. It's not your memory, it's the method. Today, we're going to talk about a much smarter way to learn new words.
So, first let's break down the actual problem. Why do those old-school methods, like just memorizing long lists of words, almost always fail us? Well, it turns out there are a few common roadblocks that just make the whole thing feel like a chore.
Just think about it for a second. We try to cram these random words into our brain that have no connection to each other, so naturally, we forget them almost immediately. There's no system, no real strategy, and pretty soon you just feel totally overwhelmed.
But we can totally fix this. We're going to break it all down into a really simple 3-part system. It's easy to remember, and more importantly, it's actually easy to do every single day.
Okay, part 1. This is all about strategy. See, it's not about learning more words, it's about learning the right words. This is where we stop working so hard and start working smart.
So, what's the magic number? You might be thinking it's some huge, intimidating figure, but it's not. Check this out. It's 3,000.
That's it. Researchers have found that just 3,000 words, that's it, make up a whopping 95% of most articles, books, and conversations. Now, this is a total game changer, right? It means you don't need to learn the whole dictionary. You just need to focus on the words that give you the most bang for your buck.
And these words have a name. They're called high-frequency words. Think of them like the superstars of the language. When you focus your energy on these, you're going to see the biggest and fastest impact on how well you can communicate.
Okay, so we know which words to focus on. Now, let's talk about how to actually learn them. And that brings us to part 2, which is all about ditching those boring lists and embracing context.
Just look at the difference here. The old way, learning from a list, it's abstract, it's dry, it's hard to remember. But the smart way, learning from a sentence or a story, that gives the word real meaning. It creates an emotional connection, and it shows you exactly how the word is used in the wild.
Let's do a quick example. Here's a word and its definition. Ephemeral, lasting for a very short time. Okay, I get it, but it doesn't really pop, does it? It's kind of hard to feel what that means.
But now, listen to this sentence. Their happiness was ephemeral, like a rainbow after a storm. Whoa, see? Suddenly the word just comes to life. You can picture it, you can feel it, and that context creates a super strong, memorable link in your brain.
And now for the final piece of the puzzle, part 3. We've found the right word, we've learned it in context, so how do we make absolutely sure it stays in our brain for good? This is where we actively lock it in.
And this isn't about boring, painful repetition. No, this is about using clever little psychological shortcuts, let's call them memory tricks, to create a really strong mental hook for every new word you learn.
One of my absolute favorites is called the keyword method. It's so simple. First, you pick your new word. Let's say mundane, which just means dull or boring. Then you find a keyword that sounds kind of similar, like Monday. And now for the fun part, you create a really vivid, maybe even silly mental image that links the two. Just picture a super boring gray Monday at the office. That image is what's going to stick. So there you have it, the 3 parts. Find the right words, learn them in context, and use memory tricks to make them stick. Let's put this all together into a daily habit that is so easy you'll have no excuse not to try it.
Look how manageable this is. We're talking just 15 minutes a day, broken up into these tiny little chunks. 5 minutes in the morning with your coffee to find your new word, 5 minutes at lunch to create that mental image, and 5 minutes at the end of the day to actually use it. Anybody can fit this into their schedule.
And here's the absolute key, the secret sauce to the whole thing. It's all about consistency over intensity. It's not about cramming for hours once a week. It's that small, consistent effort, day in and day out, that actually builds the strong pathways in your brain and turns this into a real habit.
So, that leaves us with just one final question. You've got the method, you've got the system. The only thing left is to actually start. So, what's the first word you're going to find, learn, and make your own today?